Oh hey internet, what's going on? Back here in the shop area, my crazy shop. I know it's a chaotic mess, but back here getting some work done and getting things happening. So basically building a new sump out of an old tank. So let's talk about a couple of things that you'll need to accomplish this task. Now, obviously the first thing that you're going to need is an old acrylic tank like this one right here. As you guys can see, some of the welds that are going in are not 100% show quality, but that's because we're making a sump here. This is a tool and it doesn't need to be that pretty. If you want a super pretty one, you're gonna have to go to some of the real builders out there, which I'm not. I'm just a guy who likes to build stuff and make better systems for my fish and my shrimp and all that kind of stuff. So this is actually going to be used on the Killy tank. You guys probably saw the Killy tank last week, something like that. This is going to be the new sump that goes underneath it. Currently it has a tank like this, that with no baffles in it or anything like that, and so that's where it's going to end up. Get yourself an old tank. Get yourself some, what is this, number 16 fast set acrylic glue. This stuff is kind of goofy to use. I don't typically use this. I normally use the really liquid stuff, but I happen to have some of it right now, so I'm just going ahead to use this up and utilize it for this application. Some of the other things that you're going to need are, whoa, almost knocked the camera over there. Sorry about that. You're going to need a drill. You're going to need a drill with hole saws. You're going to need some kind of work table. You're going to need some acrylic sheets, a table saw, and a couple other things. If these are things, kind of tools that you have and stuff around the house, then you can make use of them. If not, then you might be going to the store and it might not be that economical to try and do this project. Buying table saws and all that kind of stuff would be more expensive than just ordering a new fabricated sump. But let's check out the time lapse. We'll get rocking and rolling, and I'll be jumping in and out on the voiceover, let you guys know what I'm working on. At this point in the video, I've got a couple of the baffles in. You see me drill some of the holes and stuff. You see me glue some of the things in. You need some clamps and stuff like that. But I've got some DIY clamps over there, aka paint buckets full of paint, and I've utilized those for that. So I've definitely take a couple of shortcuts where I can, and trying to get this thing put together real quickly. Like I said, this isn't a pro build. This is actually just this is kind of a DIY project that's going to work well for the application needed. This center baffle right here, and then this one back here, those are the two that are in right now. We're going to cut the rest and glue those in, and then get this thing up and running. It doesn't really take that long. It doesn't take that much math. You just kind of figure out where they're going to go. These aren't perfectly straight. Like I said, these are for a sump. They don't need to be 100% in line on a DIY thing like this. It just needs to operate like a giant filter. The first chamber back there is going to be where all my biomedia is held, and then it's going to flow into this second chamber where the filter pad is going to go in, and then the third chamber here will actually be the kind of plant refugium where I'll keep plant trimmings and all that kind of stuff, and the heater and all that. And then at the very end here, we'll actually have the pump, and should work out fine for what we're trying to do, and run the Killy tank with no problems. Let's cut some acrylic. Alright, so, okay, I had to give in and get some of my clamps, which I need some of these tiny little clamps because they're actually reversible. You can see I have them inverted. There's a little screw on the end here that you can take the end off and swap it from side to side, but I needed this action in order to get these little pieces in that are going to hold the filter floss in place. Alright, so when you're gluing this, you really don't need a lot. You really got to take your your time and just apply it nicely. Otherwise, you'll end up with a really ugly seam, which isn't that important in the sump itself, but it does make a bit of a mess if you're not going slow with this glue. Got to make sure which side's the top and which side is the bottom, you know what I mean? Gotta make sure. And just make sure it's on there pretty good. This stuff does dry pretty fast, so I wouldn't be super concerned about it. It's pretty quick set though. This little piece I'm putting in here, make sure I'm putting it in the right way. There we go. Then we're just going to push that into place. Then we're going to clamp it. But we got to do the other one first. We're going to Jed clamp it, bro. Oh, it's dripped on my leg. That's how you know you got too much on there. If it drips onto your pants, you've got too much. But luckily, if you're like me, all your pants are work pants. And then, of course, you'd be talking to the camera and then put it in there crooked. That's always good. Oh, hey there. Got this last part going in right here where the pump's gonna sit behind. Figured I'd show you a different way to glue it than I was doing before. done with the sump. As I mentioned before, this is not how you put together a show tank. This is how you make a tank in your freezing cold garage when you need to have something built to work for you. We've got all the chambers that we need now and ready to rock. Last thing I got to do is drill some bulkheads into the top for the overflow, and then this thing will just be ready to go. But the bulkheads will come later in a later video. Tune in Wednesday at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for the live stream, and I'll be showing you guys some video from this being installed and put into place. So hope to see you there, and hopefully this helped you out. Maybe it gave you some ideas on what to do. All right, later.